All right. And welcome. Thank you, Bryant, for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
Matt Bryant, welcome back. We did this about a few months ago. Super popular episode, really. And personally, I want to thank you for being Show Me the Money Club sponsor for a couple of months. Much appreciated. We couldn't have picked a better partner, to be honest with you, because we believe in what you guys are doing, and we're fighting for the same things. You're fighting for their legal rights, and we're just the drivers' advocates trying to show them how to make more money. So, with that said, let's get into it. You guys are amazing. I mean, great job you do protecting driver rights. Let's get into that. Let's, let you talk about a little bit of what you guys do and what you represent and how you can help drivers.
Yeah, thank you both for having me back. It's really a pleasure to be on. Our messages and our missions are really simpatico here. We're looking to protect drivers and ensure that drivers keep their money, make their money, have the ability to get on the road and stay on the road. Legal Rideshare, as you saw in the clip, is the first law firm in the United States that's entirely dedicated to Uber and Lyft and gig-related accident and injury claims. So what does that mean? We represent drivers who get injured in car accidents. The math is simple. The more time you spend on the road, the more likely you are to be involved in a crash. Somebody, even if it's not your fault, somebody crashed into you, somebody not paying attention, and all of a sudden you lose access to your ability to work. You lose access to your ability to earn. Your vehicle's damaged, and your person is damaged. You have medical expenses that a lot of people in this industry don't have health insurance. How are you going to pay for that? You are unable to work, therefore you can't keep food on the table. How are you going to recover those losses? The pain, the suffering, the disability, whether it's temporary or permanent, those are all damages that we seek to collect on behalf of the driver, and that means money in your pocket. So when somebody takes your ability to work or your health away from you, you are entitled to money, and that's what Legal Rideshare does for the driving community. We fight the insurance companies, we fight the at-fault party, we allow you the opportunity to concentrate on healing, and then hopefully put a nice check in your pocket at the end of the day.
Great. I'm a rideshare driver. I've been on both platforms for 7 years. So is Chris. So is everybody that watches this now live or later on by the thousands. There is I know what they stand for, but I want you to quickly explain to our viewers. There's 3 phases of a rideshare trip, right? So I'm parked, let's say, somewhere that's period 1, where I'm waiting for a request to come in by either Uber, Lyft, or any other. Later on, we're going to talk about food delivery drivers as well. Is that there's minimal coverage when I'm waiting on the curb, even if I'm not driving, looking for a ping or, as we say, a request. Then there is phase 2. Now, at that time, I have accepted it, the request, and then I'm on my way to the passenger to pick them up. And there is phase 3, meaning I have the passenger in the car going to the destination. So give us a little bit of an idea of what coverages, because both companies, I think, I'm not going to say misrepresent, but it's so complicated that drivers, I don't think, understand. So if you can put it in layman's terms, what period 1, 2, and 3 is. In fact, there's period 0 if you want to talk about that as well. What our rights are as drivers.
Yeah, so I should start by saying the coverage varies state by state. So the exact numbers aren't exactly the same in, say, California as they are in New York, but the concepts are the same. So in period 0, when you're not operating as a rideshare gig worker, your own personal insurance will cover anything that happens. Whether if your car gets wrecked or you injure somebody else or something along those lines, you're going to use your personal insurance. But as soon as you turn the app on, you get into period 1, and insurance gets a little murky. So your personal insurance company usually won't want anything to do with coverage if you're working. And when you get into period 1, the rideshare company's insurance is going to take over. Where we find trouble is that in that period 1 slot, rideshare companies offer just terrible, terrible coverage. It's low limits in terms of liability. It's low limits in terms of uninsured motorist coverage, which is what protects you if you get hit by an uninsured driver or say a hit and run accident. And a lot of times there's no coverage for your collision issue. So if somebody damages your car in period one, you could find yourself in a position where you can't get it fixed. It's vastly unrepresented, or it's actually I think it's kind of criminal how the rideshare companies are not representing the coverage that's available to drivers in that period. So what's really important is that drivers protect themselves from the onset, and that means take out adequate insurance that covers rideshare work at all phases. When I talk about a typical insurance policy, I'm thinking about somebody who just signs up to be a gig worker, doesn't really tell their insurance company that they're planning on doing that work, and then relies on their normal everyday insurance to protect them. That's not going to work. You need to call your insurance company, tell them that you're going to be engaging in rideshare and delivery work, and take out an appropriate policy, get a rideshare endorsement. It might cost you a couple extra dollars, but it's worth it because it will protect you in that underinsured period one area. When we talk about periods 2 and 3, period 2 when you're on the way to pick up a passenger, and period 3 when you've got the passenger in the car, the rideshare insurance is better. There's more coverage out there, but it's still not what everybody thinks. Everybody talks about this $1 million policy that protects the driver. Well, that $1 million of insurance is for injuries that you cause to others. It doesn't attach to injuries to you or damage to your property. Those limits are far lower. So we hear from drivers all the time who are shocked when their property damage isn't covered, or if they get injured on the job and they can't get their medical bills paid because they're saying, well, the rideshare company said that they're going to protect me. That's not the case. There's a lot of vulnerability in these policies and across the span of periods 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I appreciate that because, to me, the more complicated they make it, the less we understand it. But then thankfully, we can depend on your services if we do get in a crash. I always say this, right? In this day and age, things are tougher for all gig workers, not just rideshare, right? We have to be spend more hours on the road because we're not, the markets are oversaturated. There are a lot more drivers out there due to the macro economy. They have to put food on the table, and there's many, many more drivers out trying to make a couple hundred extra bucks a week to supplement their W-2. So more people on the road means potentially more accidents. Also, we have to work longer hours to make the exact same amount of money we were making. Also, can you a little bit touch upon that, the $1 million policy, but that comes with a $2,500 deductible, right? Because a lot of people don't have that laying around, even if it's a fender bender.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And let me just take a step back before addressing that specifically. So one way in which drivers are not protecting themselves is by taking out insurance policies that don't offer collision coverage on their own vehicles. So what is collision coverage? Collision coverage is the insurance that you take out to fix your own vehicle if you cause an accident, or if somebody causes an accident to you but doesn't have sufficient insurance to fix the car. If you don't have collision coverage on your own policy, companies like Uber and Lyft are not going to pay to fix your car. They're going to say you didn't take out the appropriate insurance yourself, therefore we have no responsibility. And we've actually seen drivers who didn't take out this insurance policy get involved in a fender bender, a couple $1,000s worth of damage. It's not super severe, but that vehicle damage keeps them off the platform. They don't have the money lying around to fix the car. They don't have insurance to fix the car, and therefore they're out of work. So I've literally seen people lose their jobs, lose access to their earnings, all because they didn't adequately protect themselves from the beginning. And that's because Uber and Lyft and all the other ones don't do a good job of educating their workers about what is necessary to protect themselves. They want to keep the bar of entry really low. So they just say, get any insurance policy and you'll be fine. That is not the case. So to Sergio's point, the $2,500 deductible is what attaches to a property damage claim that you go through with Uber and Lyft, even if you have the right insurance. So say you go to State Farm or Allstate or Progressive or whichever one you use, you take out the appropriate insurance policy of the, with collision coverage, somebody rams into your vehicle and speeds away. So you've got a situation where the only way for you to fix your car is through your own insurance or through the rideshare company's insurance. If you're on the app, your personal insurance is going to say, we're not going to fix the car, you were working at the time. So then you go to Uber or Lyft or whoever, and you say, well, I want to use your insurance. They'll say, if the damage is under $2,500, say you have $1,500 worth of repairs, we're not going to fix the car because you didn't reach that minimum threshold. And if it's more than $2,500 worth of damage, say it's $3,000 worth of damage, we're only going to pay you what's in excess of that $2,500 deductible. So let me, just break down that example. You have $3,000 worth of damage. You go to Uber and say, I want you to fix the car. They're going to say, okay, here's a check for $5,000, and you're going to be responsible for the extra $2,500. So drivers are driving around out there vastly underprotected, underinsured, and they don't know it until it's too late and they find themselves in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you totally. Just for the fact that, a full-time driver, I speak to thousands of drivers. They're out on the road these days, 60, 70 hours a week. I mean, it's not a matter of, if, it's a matter of when they're going to get into either a fender bender or a major collision. While we're at the topic, of underinsured drivers out there, which I believe most people are.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.